Okay, so I'm not going to be dependent on a technology, so no presentation. How many of you live without, or how many of you can live without a cloud today? Everybody is adopting a cloud, right? Today we use Uber, today we use Facebook, today we use Ola, today we use Skyscanner, right? So today we cannot live without, as a personal one, anybody can live without a cloud. You cannot be without a cloud, right? Why the cloud is going to be most important? Today we are in a connected world, right? If a Uber is not going to connect with the Google Maps, if it is not going to connect with the traffic, if it is not going to connect with the other modes, if it is not going to connect with what is the competition which is happening. So all this can be possible only in the cloud era, right? So I wanted to talk about this, how is the important to, so when you look at the personal front, all of us has moved into a cloud, right? But when you talk about cloud adoption, cloud movement, cloud platforms in the business, a lot of us take a step back, or we have to justify a lot of things. So today, it could be a transformation journey, but over a period of time, we are going to land up in the cloud. Everything is going to be on the cloud. So those days are going to go off, right? So I wanted to give you a few of the examples on my personal experiences, right? When the COVID hit, right? So a lot of people have faced problems, not only we, but our customers also faced on problem. So I represent a software organization, so I'm going to talk about what is that we have faced as a problem, how did we overcome, and how did our customer reacted to that, right? So it's January, February kind of thing. We are fairly there from a cloud adoption. So we moved our Active Directory to Azure AD, we moved our all implementation. So we were partially kind of a work from home which was happening. So we were knowing that we have to move into that area. So when this COVID hit and we were about to go for the lockdown and all, we realized that we have to build a lot of culturally we need to change it. So when you look at culturally changing it, that means that we are moving from desktop to a laptop to a working from home, then you are connecting your bandwidth. Your traditional approach was not happening, was not valid at that point of time. So if you look at, we have the master case study has been published on the Microsoft site also. How this cloud adoption helped was, like we have moved probably around 700 desktop to a laptop. One is procuring. Second is how do we build it, right? So a lot of people are already been into multiple locations across the geographies and all. So how do we build it? So autopilot was a feature which we have used. So had it been a case like we were not on the Azure AD, Intune and all, so when we look at this, when we were able to run our business with minimum impact within 15-20 days, operating very well, making it as a normal, even though there are a lot of challenges were there, but it was like a business came into a as usual, or it is on a moving track in 15-20 days. When we look at few of the customers, we deal with a lot of secure government projects in UK, US and across the globe. So when we are looking at it, the security, traditionally they were onto a on-premises, right? So a lot of our customer adopted our own technologies because our people were working for them and adopted those cloud culture. Second, a lot of customers, we deal with a lot of NHS customers in UK, which is mainly focused on health. So they were to build a lot of applications to take care of this COVID scenarios, right? And the requirement was coming out with, can you build this application in 3 weeks of time? Can you give me these platforms within 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 4 weeks? Those are all the timelines which were requested because already they were into a mess situation, right? Because they were all focused on premises. People are visiting to the hospitals at the local locations and all. Can I build it with the non-cloud environment? One is we need a certain baseline which can be customized into that, right? Similarly, when you look at, and also before COVID, our all infrastructure, security, everything was focused on premises, right? So I have a firewall, I have all the equipment. We were investing all those things within on premises. when the COVID hit in, so then we realized that 90% of our people are, even 100% of our people are going to operate from home. That means that they have to log into the office environment, moving into that. Even network moving into all network controls moving into a cloud was a very less adoption before COVID, and if you look at it, everybody is moving towards that. So all your firewalls are being, network as a service has moved into a cloud, your DLPs, whether they operate from office or home, there is a seamless experience which is happening over there. Third is, when you adopt any kind of cloud, it is a cultural change which is needed. So, as rightly said by the previous speaker, has anybody trained you, or any adoption training program has been kicked off for adopting a Facebook? It was not, right? User experience is the most important one. Before user experience, there is a culture, right? So the way traditionally, for example, if somebody is traveling on a bus every day, and if he, or a car every day, and if he is suddenly asked to travel in different mode, so he will tend to go with the same mode which he was earlier, right? There is a change which is happening within his behavior. So when you are adopting, your culturally has to be changed. Any platform product implementation fails not because of the abilities, adoption fails not because of the ability, but because of the culture. I have 2 managers which has been reported, so I need my platform to be adopting into that. So in culture, which we need to identify is, how do we ensure that we adopt what is that which is culturally fit for us, right? Whether it is going to be a build or a buy. So when you have a probably could be HRMS system which you want to build, which you want to adopt within the organization. So if we cannot culturally change, saying that the way we were operating, the reports which we are generating, then it is completely, when you buy, it is completely going to fail. Culturally, either if you are going to buy, then you need to adopt to the standard best practices. That is a scalable one. So you are a part of the smaller organization, could be a 2,000, 3,000, and you move into a 10,000 people organization. The dependency on the people goes off, right? So today I can, if 1,000 people, I can go to HR, I can go to IT, I can contact someone to deal with it. So when you are making this adoption program in the cloud, you need to be very clear on culturally how do we ensure that we are going to be successful in any of the cloud implementation which we are adopting to, right? So one is, if the organization is still not matured enough to understand the buy, which is like standard best practices, then it is better to go for the build one. Build one will always come with the problems, right? That is, you are limited to your own knowledge. You will create a BRD document, what you want to do it and all. The buy one will always give you on the cloud infrastructure. Buy one always gives you a lot of innovation which is coming in. You will be with the journey. So people were talking about legacy applications, right? And the legacy, not only on the legacy application, but legacy processes, right? So the way we were submitting the voucher 15 years back, the way we are submitting our expense vouchers today is completely different, right? So if those areas you want to adopt, then people say that the cloud is going to be expensive. So cloud is going to be a future. So digital is going to be a cost, cloud is going to be a cost. So when you look at, can I run my business with few people, the way older traditional voucher kind of system, you can run with it with no cost on the digital and the cloud, but it is not going to be a scalable, adoptable, it is not going to be in line with what we are moving in the industry kind of thing, right? So if you look at it, the cloud, as we moved from a traditional approach of paper and all to a kind of a digital, the cloud is going to be a future journey because it is going to be a connected world. Today we are talking about, we are solving few of the problems across the globe where example could be a oil pipe cleaning company, right? So there's a company which does, our customer which does a oil pipe cleaning, right? So when they clean it, they identify if there are any damages in the oil pipes, and they build if there are any damages, they build a bypass to that. When they dig into the actual pipelines, can we solve the problem of a disaster happening because the vibration, temperature are going to be important, right? How do I monitor? And this company is in US, They are doing it across Middle East and other areas. So how do I monitor, how do I ensure that I don't land up in any regulatory or the disaster scenarios? The cloud is going to be approached. It's a connected world. Can I connect to a sensor? Can I have APIs to connect to my sensors? Can I get a visibility, live visibility of what is happening over there? Another example is when we were looking at, so how the cloud can solve the problem. Another example, latest example is we were looking at, there are a lot of people, now it's a work from home, right? 70% of our organization is working from home. That means that we don't know whether they're in India, they're in US, they're in Singapore. So there are people who are, like husband moved into Malaysia and the wife moved in and then she started operating from there. Does it have any problem? It has a problem, regulatory, right? Because you're operating out of some other country and you're paying a tax in India. So there could be a regulatory issues which is coming in. So how do we identify it, right? So this problem statement can be solved on the cloud. So today we are in Azure Ready, which gets you a log of from where the machine is getting logged. So today we have integrated everything using some platforms on the Google Maps itself. You can get a clear visibility. Can I have an Excel sheet, look at who is operating out of which location and all? I can do that, but that is not the way it is going to be solved because day in and day out you are changing the scenarios, right? So today we have a Google map which shows all the countries and you have people from where you are locating, click on those countries and it will give you a list of how many people are operating out of which location. When we implemented, we realized that even one of our guys working from Ukraine also, right? So that is what the cloud is going to bring in. When you are in the connected world where you are not going to be, or any application is not going to be sitting silos in some area where it's going to generate some business value, but it is going to consume data across. It could be a internal data, it could be external data, it could be a Google Maps, it could be the authentication mechanism which you are internally owning it. It could be anything. So you need to be in the connected world and that is possible in the cloud environment only. So that is how we made our journey into that. NHS retail, there are a lot of banking, small banking segment which we serve with our customers. They were traditionally on-premises. They were not able to sustain during the COVID period. So we built cloud-based applications. So convincing them for 3 years saying that you have to move to a cloud for a better agility and the future is going to be a cloud was taking time. But when the COVID hit, within 3 months they moved into a cloud because that could not sustain their business and they were non-operable for 3 months of time before we move into a cloud-based application kind of thing. So cloud as an adoption is going to be the future because we are not going to be a silos organization which is going to or any area. If you take about retail, today you are in a competitive, what Flipkart is offering, what is the price in the Google, you have a connected world again. There are platforms available where this thing is available like a sky scanner, right? It aggregate every airport sites or the websites and gives you a platform where you can offer best tickets, right? So it's a connected world. Today you have to connect with multiple sources, get that data for your own business growth and all. You cannot be getting those insights, running analytics, bringing in a lot of ideas. So because of this cloud platform, we also realized that we will not be able to sustain with the people dependency. So within last 3 years, we have migrated all the automation. We have moved into automation platform. So again, this integration has helped in making the automation possible. So cloud, I am able to connect with my ticketing system. So like for example, another benefit of cloud is, just to give you one of the example is completely we have automated the software deployment process. How do we do it? Anybody is sitting in, maybe in a Jharkhand, request for a software. So it logs a ticket into our ticketing system. Ticketing system get integrated into another cloud platform, which has a intelligence to identify whether it is a open source, freeware and all. So if it is open source, then again it gets into a cloud in tune, deploys onto his machine who is located at a very far off place, no dependency on that. Reduce the timeline by 8 days to a 4 hours kind of thing. There are many use cases which are there, which can bring you the cloud. So when we start delivering these platform, it it becomes very easy to convince your organization saying that you have not grown your IT from, or we have grown 5 folds within the organization, but IT support has moved into maybe a 10% because of these cloud adoption and the agility, and bringing down even supporting the business to operate in a very minimal way. So these are all the experiences which I wanted to share it with you. So sorry that I don't have a presentation, and happy to take out any questions if you have.
Do we have any questions?
There we have.
Dr. Mahesh, this was very insightful.
Thank you.
So though you did not have any presentation, I think it made a big impact. One quick question I have is around the data leakage part. So while you gave a very fantastic view about how the software deployment process is happening, could you just give a little insight as to, while we are on this digital transformation process, I'm sure that each one of us have been facing this issue of data leakage.
Great question. So data leakage, right? Take a scenario of before COVID, post COVID, right? So what was the solution which we had? Email as a data leakage, your firewall as a data leakage, your antivirus could have a data leakage, right? Today, the network entire data leakage protection has moved into a cloud. So today I'm sitting at my location. If he is operating out of the Jharkhand, right? Whether he is sharing any data using our own laptop, using a Gmail, that all those things can be possible today because we have moved all our network security controls from on-premises to a cloud. So visibility and the data leakage protection has been increased because of the adoption of the cloud, because today I have a visibility on the laptop which is sitting at a very far off location outside India, where my data, how it is moving, where is the visibility and all. So if you look at the security components also, so it is moving towards the cloud, and more you adopt the cloud, your compliances are going to be more. Does it answer your question?
Yeah, it did to a certain extent, because I was looking at the compliances part, and you very rightly said, the associated element would be the compliances part. I think Rohit and Ganesh did touch upon this a little bit on a generic level, but I believe that the whole aspect is of what is it, how the compliances would be driving as an enabler in some of these contexts for various industries.
Right. So compliances, again, let me give you again, these are all not the holistic answers also, right? Compliances. One is employee ID, addition and deletion, right? How much compliance we have? To be frank with you, the manual process, it could be 60, 70, 80, right? How do I revoke? An employee living from a UK as a region, we take 24 hours to revoke and all, right? So with the adoption of the cloud again, with the automation bringing in, with the platform integrating with multiple platform, today we do it automatically. So an employee is living from a UK on the day, it has been picked up by our cloud platform again, Azure AD, it gets disabled, and it communicates with all the platform, integrated word, and removes the accesses. So moving from typically about 90% of compliance over there, it is moved into that. So today if you look at every cloud platform, whoever is selling the cloud platform, they're selling with the compliances. They are PCI DSS, or any compliances which you talk about, local or regional or the global compliances, they are talking about that. So it's a myth that there are few instances, right? Can I click a photograph when I'm accessing the production environment? That is the word which is unsolved today. But if you look at the core technology aspect, the cloud will bring you a more compliances compliances, or it increases your compliances, because we are moving from a people dependent compliances to a technology dependent compliances, right? So today car has been enabled with entire automation which is connected to a connected cloud environment. So even the people, the accidents are going to be dependent on. So if you look at the compliances and then all those things, it is been increased. So when you're adopting a technology, the compliances is going to be a critical part of it. More and more you start adopting the cloud technologies, your compliances are also going to be increasing. So two examples, one is on employee, which we have established using the cloud platform on automation. Second example is bringing in the cloud-based network security, increase our DLP and what sites, where their data leakage is happening, and integrating with multiple platforms to give us the visibility of the entire data leakage has been increased.
Thank you, Dr. Mahesh.